welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be reading The Monkey King Learns Magic Powers. After leaving Flower Fruit Mountain, the Monkey King traveled farther than he had ever imagined. He crossed rushing rivers on fallen logs. He climbed steep mountains covered in snow. He wandered through forests so thick that sunlight barely reached the ground. Everywhere he went, he searched for the same thing, the secret of immortality. The Monkey King visited busy towns filled with people. He watched merchants selling food in crowded markets. He saw fishermen casting nets into wide rivers. He listened carefully to old travelers telling stories about powerful masters and magical lands. Sometimes he asked strangers for help. "Do you know how to live forever?" he would ask. Most people simply laughed. Others shook their heads and hurried away. But the Monkey King refused to give up. Years passed. Even though he was brave and strong, the Monkey King sometimes felt lonely. At night, he sat beneath the stars thinking about Flower Fruit Mountain and the monkeys waiting for him at home. But every time he thought about turning back, he remembered the old monkey who had disappeared forever. And so, he continued searching. One windy evening, the Monkey King arrived at a small village beside a mountain. As he rested outside a tea shop, he overheard two old men talking quietly. "I heard there is an immortal master living high in the western mountains," one man whispered. "They say he understands the secrets of the heaven and earth," said the other. The Monkey King's ears perked up immediately. An immortal master? This was exactly what he had been searching for. Early the next morning, the Monkey King began climbing the western mountains. The path was difficult and dangerous. Sharp rocks cut his feet. Cold winds howled around him. Dark clouds covered the sky. But the Monkey King pushed forward. At last, high above the clouds, he discovered a peaceful temple hidden among the trees. The air smelled fresh and cool. Birds sang softly in the distance. And sitting outside the temple was an old master with long white eyebrows and calm, wise eyes. The Monkey King hurried forward and bowed deeply. "Master," he said respectfully, "please teach me how to become immortal." The old master studied him carefully. "You are not a human," he said. "No," replied the Monkey King proudly. "I am the Monkey King of the Flower Fruit Mountain." For a long moment, the master said nothing. Then slowly, he smiled. "You may stay here and learn," he said, "but true wisdom does not come easily." The Monkey King grinned with excitement. He had finally found his teacher. Life at the temple was very different from life among the monkeys. The students woke before sunrise every morning. They swept the floors, carried water from the river, collected firewood from the forest. At first, the Monkey King found the chores boring. He wanted to learn magic immediately. But the old master was patient. "Power without discipline is dangerous," he warned. So the Monkey King learned to be patient. Day after day, he trained harder than anyone else. He practiced meditation beneath waterfalls. He balanced on thin branches high above the ground. He learned to calm his thoughts and focus his mind. Slowly, the master began teaching him magical secrets. The Monkey King learned how to leap incredible distances in a single jump. One leap could carry him thousands of kilometers through the sky. He learned how to transform himself into different shapes and creatures. With a quick spin, he could become a bird, a tiger, a tree, or even a tiny insect. The Monkey King loved showing off his new powers. Sometimes he secretly transformed into another student just to play tricks on people. The other students never knew what he might do next. One afternoon, the master called the Monkey King forward. "You are talented," the master said. "But talent can become pride." The Monkey King tried to look serious. Even so, he could not stop himself from smiling proudly. Then, the master taught him one final secret: the path to immortality. It was a powerful heavenly technique, known only to a few beings in the world. The Monkey King practiced it carefully and faithfully. At last, he had achieved the thing he wanted most. He would no longer fear growing old or disappearing from the world. The Monkey King was overjoyed. "I have done it!" he shouted happily. "I'm immortal!" But the master's expression suddenly turned serious. "You must never misuse your powers," he warned. "If you become careless or arrogant, trouble will follow you everywhere." The Monkey King nodded quickly, but deep inside, he was already imagining all the amazing things he could do with his new abilities. Not long after, the master called him aside. "It is time for you to leave," he said calmly. The Monkey King blinked in surprise. "Leave? Why?" The master looked towards the sky. "The world is large," he replied, "and your destiny is waiting for you." The Monkey King bowed respectfully to his teacher. Then, with one mighty leap, he launched himself into the sky. Clouds rushed past him, mountains blurred beneath him. And before long, Flower Fruit Mountain appeared once again in the distance. The monkeys looked up and gasped. A figure was flying through the clouds. "It's him!" they cried. "The Monkey King has returned!" The Monkey King landed proudly before his monkey kingdom. The monkeys rushed forward, cheering and laughing with joy. Their king had come home, but they quickly realized something was different. The Monkey King was no longer just a brave monkey. Now, he possessed powers beyond imagination. And soon, the entire world, and even heaven itself, would hear about the legendary Monkey King. The end. Thank you for listening.